My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. Today I wanted to talk about differing values. I like to refer to humans as opinion sacks. You're a sack of opinions. Because, on a lot of levels, I'm a sack of opinions. I have all kinds of hot sports opinions, but not about sports because I'm not into sports, but I have a lot of hot opinions, a lot of hot thoughts, and a lot of things that I believe to be true, and values of how I hold the world. And you have your value system. Your value system is typically going to be based on the experiences you have and the teachers you have and had around you as you formed your personality matrix. So from 0 to 7, you're forming your personality matrix. And then we typically cycle with that pattern throughout the life. And with that pattern, we will have established value systems. You can have an established value system of it's important to give a person space. People need alone time. That's a really important value system for me. I have Scorpio and Cancer. I have plenty of water in my chart. And Heather requires alone time. Now, I'm the steward of that. I also value and consider it my responsibility to say, actually, I'm going to take some time alone. Friend, lover, whatever, that's on me to have the onus on that of like, okay, now Heather needs some space. Now I need to be alone with my thoughts. Now I need to recalibrate to my frequency and figure out where I'm going from there, and then we can reconvene. I have a specific value system that says if you don't want to be racist, you can't go around hating white males. You can't, if you want to be a feminist, you can't hate men or think that has to do with women's rights. It doesn't. Feminism is equality of the sexes. If you want to be a feminist, then you need to consider what rights are men deprived of. Well, culturally, they're often denied the right to feel the freedom to cry or to feel sensitivity. That's, unless you're a parent that's literally offering your son the right and the freedom to feel their sadness and isn't doing that, come on, toughen up, blah, 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 which happens to a lot of men. So that would need to come into balance as much as putting women in positions of power and paying them well would need to come into balance. Honoring all the genitalia is what feminism is about. All the variations of genitalia. It's about equality with the people. Equality of all of the sexes. So you would be equally liberated and in the way you would share rights with an intersexed person or a trans person. So what I can say is I've met plenty of people that do not hold my value system. No, they do not. And that's because there are 7.9 billion people at this Earth school choosing value systems. Many of them will have addictions. So they may choose a value system that like drug addiction or alcoholism. Ew, not okay. My parent was a drug addict. My parent was an alcoholic. But they, in that same value system, might have a food addiction or might have an inability to be alone addiction, a constant distraction interaction addiction. They might have, so we all have different addictions, different ways we can avoid, run from the self, run from what we feel, I would say one is not superior to another. We all have work to do down here, so you're not superior if you're a workaholic. You're not superior to the drug addict. Okay, you're an addict too, and your inability to play and inability to fun is, I would say, having an equally sucky life to that of a drug addict. It's not fun to just work, and we praise that in this culture here in the West. Like, oh, you're a workaholic. Oh, good, get that bread and butter. It's like, okay, but, what is a life worth living? What is an actual life worth living? Maybe you have some fun in it. Maybe you have some fun. I've recently come into conversations where I'm realizing like, oh, I have a different value system. This can happen when you come into a friendship, you start dating someone. It's like, I have a different value system than you on this topic. and you can sometimes have people misread you on your value system. They might be like, well, that seems like this or like that, and they might put some judgment on it, not really understanding where your value system comes from. I'm somebody that likes to understand the communication rhythm between a person. And that's because I've dated historically addicts, and they would just dip out and disappear for long periods and then come back, and I would be like, oh, you done being you done with your addiction for today? Cool, now we're going to be connected. And so that created a rhythm and a pattern in me where it's like it helps me to understand, because if you dip out, my brain wants to assume you're probably smoking crack in an alleyway. That's what my brain wants to do, You're probably doing something weird somewhere. So that's on me to understand that pattern is there based on my experiences. It's important for me to understand that there may be some level of expectation around communication, because it garners a sense of safety for me. That when someone is present, when they're communicative, I'm like, oh, this is safe. You're not, doing things that have happened in my past. But more importantly, I would say the onus is on me to understand no one in the world is responsible to me to communicate at my rhythm, at my pace, in the way I communicate. So the work that I do is around, like, let my friend be my friend. Let this person be this person. Let my lover be my lover. Let people be who they are. Every person that I know gets to be them in their value system. And they might have a value system that says, like, I require a lot of alone time. And I get that. I actually get that. But so we can have these patterns that almost seem like they don't really go together, because I'm an extremely independent woman. I'm finally in a phase of my life where I love me. I love my own company. I'm perfectly happy and deeply believe I can be very satisfied living the rest of my life alone. I mean, look at all this stuff I have to do. Like, I have lots I want to study. I have lots of travel I want to do. I have lots of things I want to focus on. So I feel like I have a full lifetime's worth of things to place my attention on. And I can say that I'm a very independent and freedom-oriented spirit, and so I can understand that. And at the same time, I may be running patterns, I may have certain value systems that don't even align with the truth of the magnitude of freedom I feel as a spirit. Like, I literally believe every person I know should only be themselves in relationship to me. And specifically when it comes to romantic relationship, I have 0% interest in changing any person that becomes my lover. I'm not here to change you. I really think in romantic relationships, if you're in one now, if you're going to love someone, love the person you're with, not some idea of them, not some alteration of them, not some variation of them. Now, I'll say that, and I'll also say that doesn't mean that you have to drop your value system when things don't align. You have the right to speak to, like, this actually isn't a match to my value system. I have a different value system because this slice of the pie, I've had these experiences and that triggers that. Communication becomes the key with differing value systems. Communication, I'm learning, and I've been learning the past couple of weeks because I've recently started dating someone, and some of the things I've said to them, I'm like, this doesn't even sound like me. It sounds, because I'm so freedom-oriented, and some of the things I've said to them do not sound freedom-oriented. And so I've really been kind of like stewing in my own words, like, what did I say? That sounds crazy. But I've come to recognize what I've said stems from past experiences, previous relationships, and the different dynamic that is present. And the reason it sounds so foreign to me is because I haven't dated for a long time. So coming back into dating, I'm picking up where I left off, which is people behaving in ways where I had to establish a lot of boundaries. Like, boundaries. I'm a very open person. And so I've spent a lot of time in romantic relationships that were really fundamentally toxic to me because there weren't boundaries established for my self-respect and my self-love to be present. So that causes me to consider, I was like, wow, some of these things do not sound like my freedom-loving self, and why are they there? Oh, they're there because I've had these experiences, and when I get in this circumstance, it can activate fear, or it can activate concern that the past is repeating. Like, we can have a tendency to do that. One of the things I'm asking myself, one of the things I'm like checking in with Heather Feather on, is, am I asking another person to have my same value system? Am I asking you to be me? If you want to love someone, if you want to be friends with someone, then be friends with them, then love them. And that includes understanding you're not always going to have the same values. You're not always going to agree. You didn't have the same experiences, you know? You didn't have the same experiences. Different experiences garner different value systems. And it's important to, in order to have a really robust life of great diversity, which is what Earth School offers, but we have a tendency to cloister with like minds. I just want to be around people. I've done that. I've done that plenty. Like, I just want to be around people that think like me, and it's like, good luck, Heather. That's gonna be a long search. but really, it's like one of my most beloved friends right now identifies conservative. I often describe myself as the most liberal person I've ever met. The way I would describe myself is the most liberal person I've ever met. Because to me, a truly bleeding heart liberal perspective is to not become the enemy, right? If you're going to talk about don't be racist, then don't be racist against white people while we try to rid the planet of racism. If you're going to talk about be a feminist, then consider men's rights. Consider what men need as a half of the planet while we talk about feminism, which is equality of the sexes. So I consider myself deeply liberal, because it's not just about doing that thing that's like, yeah, let's think about women. It's like, yeah, let's think about everyone. I don't know why this conversation is around genitalia anyhow, but okay, feminism. Let's think about everybody's rights. Are they equal? Are they equal? I can tell you, I've had a lot of jobs where I've had a lot of grace and ease around my emotional sensitivity and my sadness and the freedom for me to go talk to a girlfriend at work. But I haven't seen that same liberation for men at a job. So being so liberal, I might think, well, I can only be around liberal people. You need to hold my value system. You can't have a different value system, because that might affect the rights of people I love, or blah, 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 blah. But I got to tell you, as we cloister into our little groups and separate away from each other, that's not A, helping evolution. B, it's not being willing to expand your circle, to open up, to learn more, to understand alternative perspectives. Like, I don't understand a conservative perspective. I can promise you I'm not going to understand it by avoiding it. And it's a large part of the world, and I would like to understand that part of the world. Why do you choose this? Why would you choose this? Do you love money? Do you sit on stacks of money? Is it about that? Because that's what my brain thinks it means. To my brain, conservative means I love money, and liberal means I love people. But that's not what it means, right? That's like some just quick association. So one of the things I really ask of me to expand into my fullness is to be receptive to differing values. There are all kinds of values that I don't hold. Like, I do not think you should feel like you are the steward of someone else's change, someone else's evolution. I do not feel or think that you should be with someone under the guise and expectation that you're going to change them. Really not your job. There's a star player you're breathing with every moment of now that you are absolutely the steward of change for. Focus up on your star player. What needs to change here? All kinds of stuff, everybody. All kinds of stuff needs to change for all of us. Let's get on it. Lots to do. Let's focus up on the self. What do we need to change? But if someone's differing values trigger you and you get like, I do not like that, and you need to get into judgment, then roll back a little bit. Roll back, ease it up a little bit, roll back. Why am I so triggered around someone not agreeing with me? We tend to have a fundamental expectation that two-legged should agree with us. And I don't know if you've met the world, but no, no, it's not about, like, Mother Nature even. A bear is not like just like agreeing with a fish, like, hi fish, you're so cute, put you back in the river. It's like, boom, lunch. Like that things operate at divergent frequencies and in divergent ways, and can we make peace with that? So today I'm asking you, and I'm asking myself, can you honor and respect, without judgment, someone's differing values to what you hold to be true? Go to rarebirdmedicine.com. Lots of services and classes coming up there. Blessed be.